Okay. Welcome, everybody. This is the first session that we're going to be recording. We don't have a name for this podcast yet. Name yet to be determined. We are a group of friends. We're not in real life together. We're on Skype currently recording everything. We're going to be playing 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons in the world of Tupia. And I am the DM. My name is Dito, but most people call me Armored or Dito. I will be DMing. I've never DM'd in my life. I've played D&D, but I've never DM'd in my life. And I'm joined by a couple of my friends, which are going to be playing. Let's go by order. So we have one dwarven barbarian, one elf bard, one elf rogue, and one human question mark? Human question mark, aka Asimar, fighter. That's who we're going to be playing. And later, obviously, in the if this goes well, which I hope it does, we'll be like introducing each other like at the beginning of every session, so you guys can hope for it. So, you guys want to like talk a little bit about yourselves? Who wants to start?
Or D&D characters, right?
Yeah. Not your. We don't care about that.
Alright, okay.
Unless you want to tell your life story.
It's a short one, don't worry. You peasants can be happy to see me, the mighty elf, the bard. I'm the real musician, okay? I make people happy with my music. I get women like as much as I want, okay? That's all you need to know. So be grateful.
And what's your name? What's your name?
I'm Dopey Joe, man. I'm Dopey Joe.
Okay.
I bet you're dope.
Moving along straight forward to the person next to Dopey Joey is...
Hello, my name's Einars. I will be playing the barbarian dwarf called Bjorn. Bjorn Strongale, if you are looking at his full name. What you need to know is that Bjorn likes to make ale or moonshines in his free time, and he's on the quest to regain or remember his long-lost recipe of his most famous moonshine, and take revenge for his dear friend's death, and the friend's name is Sasha. By the way, Sasha's bad, so I think that's it for now.
Yeah, that's enough information for now. Let's move swiftly along to the officer of this podcast.
My name is Nancy, and I'm going to be playing the human/Asimar fighter. Her name is Anaris, and although she does not agree with the rules of this world, she is obligated to work close to the enemy, so no one suspects of her race.
I'd like to point out, as Nancy said, in this world that I've created, I've been creating this world since I was 9. I'm currently 24, so it's been a couple of years. A lot of thought has been put out like in this world, in the general consensus. This wasn't designed for D&D. This was my invention. I started this when I was a kid, and I've been developing like a lot of things in my mind. And I decided to do a little bit of like turn this into a D&D session. In this world, races don't work all the same. This is a homebrew, obviously. And what happens is every race has their own thing, and Asimars are not perceived in this world as usual. If you're not familiar with Asimars, you can just Google it. They're a race in 5th edition. Asimars were almost all banished, apart from some that follow a person in this world, which is His Majesty. That's all you guys need to know for now. You will find out more as the story progresses. But most classes, most races have their own prejudice. Some of them are slaves even. Some of them have to pay taxes, aka dwarfs, halflings, and gnomes. They have to pay taxes. But you guys will find out more about that as we go on. For the last person of this podcast.
My name is Laura. I'm gonna be playing a character which is a sister. My sister Zoe. Zen. Or whatever I'll call you. I'll think of a funny nickname. My name is Leah. I technically was found by my foster father after my village got basically wrecked. I believe I was the last survivor of that village. I'm technically an elf, but I was raised by humans. And since the poor situation of my family, I started stealing, and that's how I became a criminal, which is kind of complicated since my sister is a policeman. So that's my story.
Okay, now that we got out of the introductions, we start our little quest in the town of Komek. A little tiny little village with just a couple of villagers and a really, really good fruit market next to it. It is a very small town. It only has a couple of houses, a couple of people living there. And we start that on a tavern, like you usually start every D&D session known to man. You start either at a tavern or a guild, so I'm going to start this on a tavern. We are starting this on Pix Tavern, a dwarven tavern. So the setting is, you guys, most of you aren't there yet, but there is one person that is sitting, which is Leah. Leah is sitting on one of the tables. The bar is completely empty. There's like Leah and probably two other people drinking. The barkeeper, a dwarf, very elderly, is scraping away at the counter, cleaning it very neatly. And behind him you can see the glasses are very stained. Most of the drinks he has there are almost all empty, and he looks to be completely exhausted from his work. He probably hasn't eaten in a couple of days. And also behind him there is a door to what most people would assume is the cellar. And at the top there is a pickaxe that looks very rusty, and it's like in a little bit of a frame. We start this off by letting Joey enter the tavern. So Joey, you enter the tavern, and what do you do?
I go and walk up to the bartender, alright, and ask him, "What's up, peasant? Give me a drink."
Joey, good to see you, friend. Pick says to you, obviously. Pick offers you a glass of ale.
Alright, I take it and I drink it, and I don't like this taste right from the start. What is this? This is way worse than the last time. What happened?
Things are not looking up, friend. Not looking up at all. But this is the best I can give you, Joey. Your tab is getting a little bit too big for you to pay.
Alright, but I don't think I can accept that. What are your problems, man? Well, how can I help you?
Look, do not trouble yourself with my problems. I have my problems. Being a dwarf and all is a big issue. You know this. I have to pay my taxes, and this comes at a great price for me. But look, Joey, just sit. Enjoy the evening. I will bring you ale in a little bit again. Just don't worry about it. He gestures you to like sit down on any of the tables.
And I sit down and I started slowly devouring my drink.
Okay. So, Leah, what are you doing?
I need a refill of this crappy drink.
Okay, as you say that, you watch as a dwarf walks up to you and asks you, what do you need?
I just need a refill of this drink that I was drinking. I don't know what the hell you poured here, but I just want more.
That's your cue. That's your cue, Bjorn.
Bjorn looks at the now empty cup and says to himself, "Wine, bad wine." He smells it and he's like, "I suggest you get some ale. It's better than wine in this region."
Well, if you say it's better, then let's go with the ale.
And Bjorn goes and pours some ale and brings it back to the customer.
Dopey Joe.
As you guys are just doing that, you notice there is an elven boy walking around, cleaning the tables, doing maintenance. Nothing too much. He walks up to you, Joey, and he says, "Is everything all right, sir? Do you need anything?"
If you can get something better than this piece of a drink, then sure, help me. If not, piss off.
He looks at you and he says, "Oh, okay." Okay, and he grabs your glass and goes and pours the same drink that Rogue just got in the corner, and he serves it to you.
Are you kidding me? Are you actually such an idiot? Did you go to school to learn to be such an idiot, or were you born this way? Then I poured the drink over his head.
Me seeing the poor boy getting this drink poured on the head, I pull out one of my daggers. I assume me being slightly tipsy at this point of drinking alcohol, and being, what the hell are you doing to the poor boy?
I say to you, are you kidding me? You fucking youngly tried to threaten me.
As all this commotion is happening, you hear the front door. I'm gonna just picture you guys how this tavern is. There's the bar where the barkeeper is, the bar stool. He's behind it. There are about, let me check. There are about 6 tables in front, and there's a big table for like group dinners and drinking. But it's really dusty, even though it's been cleaned. Like you see the kid just scraping it off all night, but it looks like really old, like it's not being used in like a very long time. There is a door and there is a fireplace because this is a very chilly night. You know, in this kingdom, during the day, it's really, really warm, but at night it's really, really cold. Think desert of the Sahara. Okay, that's how that temperature difference works. Really warm, really cold, really warm, really cold. So the fireplace is lit. There are some logs burning there, and the door is like right in front of the fireplace. As this commotion is going on, you just hear the door slam open. And you see this giant skeleton of a man. You assume man. It's more of a half-orc. Walk into the bar, followed by a white-haired girl in similar, but not so fancy, not so decorated armor. Both wearing dark capes and hoods. Followed, in between them, there is a man, a lizard folk, dressed in very, very neatly sewed silk robes, and they seem to have a little bit of a line of golden thread sewed in like the all around the globe. You assume this guy is really wealthy. This half-orc skeleton walks into the bar and slams his hand on the table, and he looks at Pick with this menacing look. And he says, "Pick, where's the money?" You see this dwarven elderly man go completely like white with his face, and he starts like combing his beard with his hand, like panicking. He says, "Lieutenant, I don't have the money. I can't pay you yet. Please, give me a couple of more days." As you see Pick say that, the skeleton half-orc seems really, really angry with these words. And he grabs Pick by the collar and lifts him up from the other side of the bar and like looks him dead in the face and just screams in his face, "Money now!" What do you guys do?
As this happens, Bjorn he takes one empty cup, pours some of the ale which he gave to the previous customer. He quickly runs up to this giant man and he starts to say, "Mister, please, we have a customer who has a bit debt for us. He will pay us today, and we will get you money tomorrow. But maybe some part of it, like this man," and he points at Dopey Joy because he knows he has stabbed on in his place.
Yeah.
He can pay some of it right now. Please take a drink on house.
As you say that, you see this half-orc look at you, and he lets go of Pick by the collar. He just lets him go. He looks at you like he looks really angry, and he's gonna grab, and then all of a sudden he says, "Bjorn, my friend, how are you? You good today? Paid your taxes?
I'll paying and planning to pay.
Good, because this one isn't paying, and we're not thrilled about that." And when he says he's not thrilled about that, this lizard folk walks up and he says, "Dwarf that sells hail, I will be collecting the money tomorrow. It better be here, or consequences will apply." And he just like turns around and just walks away. But before he can like finish the walk to the door, because he's being followed by this human woman with white hair, you see as General Great Axe. You guys, Lieutenant Great Axe. You guys know who Bjorn knows who this is, and so does Leah, because obviously, like you guys live in this town, you know who it is. Joey, you've seen him around, but you know he's authority. You don't know who he is, but you know like he's authority. He just grabs the drink, slams it down his throat, and just smashes the glass on the table and says, "Shit ale," and walks away. But as he's walking away, the elven boy who poured drinks on is not looking happy, and he grabs a drink and pours it over the head of the lieutenant. And this just makes the lieutenant lose his shit. He grabs the boy by the collar and says, "You piece of shit," and throws him across the room into the fireplace. And you see as this elven kid just gets completely smashed into the table, and he lands on your table, Leah. This little boy just does not look okay. He's really badly wounded. And as that happens, what do you guys do?
Well, first I will assume I was holding my ale and I was still holding it in my hand and gonna be like, "Yo, what the hell? My ale!"
Great Axe walks up to you and just says, "You have something to say."
Yeah, what the fuck, man? It was just a boy.
He does not look happy with your response, and he just walks up like really close to you. You can see like his skull is like an half-orc skull, but in his eye sockets, since he's undead, he doesn't have eyes, but he has these glowing red orbs that function as his eyes, and he holds you really close and like whispers into your ears and just screams, "You talk to me again, I'll rip your head off."
I walk close to the Lieutenant Great Axe, and I try to touch him on his shoulder and say, "Don't worry, I'll take care of things here."
Good! That's what you privates are good for! And he just walks away, touches the lizard folk on his shoulder and goes like, "Please, after you." And he just looks really calm right now. Like nothing happened. After Zanari said that, he just looks calm as hell and he just walks away. So you people are just in a bar that literally just had a little boy thrown against the wall. What do you do?
I look at Leah and I ask her, "Are you out of your mind?"
Oh, what the fuck is wrong with that guy? Did he step on his bed on the wrong foot or something?
You're going to get yourself killed one day. And I look at the little boy, and I can see that he's wounded. And I ask,
can you roll me a perception check?
While she's doing that, I'm trying to help Pick get back on his legs, because I assume he fell down.
Yeah, he fell down.
Yeah, so I'm like trying to get him up and like try to clean the place. Like,
"Oh, thank you, Bjorn. Is everything okay?" He asks you.
"No," and I point at the boy like, "No."
As you point at the boy, he just looks visually distressed. He looks like he's about to have a panic attack, and he pushes you aside and opens up the bar and just starts running and says, Everybody out! And like the two patrons that were left just walk away, like really scared, like scared shitless. They were already leaving, but they start like hurrying up their pace. And Pick just goes up and just grabs his son by the neck and starts like shaking him, like checking if he's okay. Xananis, you'll notice that he didn't suffer any injuries from the burning, but he's knocked unconscious. He didn't get burned. He got tossed around the fireplace, but nothing burned him.
Do I know if he has any broken bones or anything like that?
Not that you can discern. He looks really beaten up. He looks like he just took like a pounding. This guy packs a punch. Bjorn just grabs his son and says, "Please, help me."
You mean Pick?
Yeah, Bjorn. Oh god. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm gonna start confusing names. Pick just picks up the son and just like looks at you and says, "Please help me." And he's visibly shaking. He's like distraught. He turns to all of you at the bar, at the tavern. He just turns at you and says, "Please help me."
Bjorn says, "Of course, like, you have helped me so much, like, I need to repay a favor for my friend."
As shitty as your wine today was, I guess, since I'm a customer here for quite some while, man, I guess a peasant like you can use some help.
I look at Pick and I tell him, right now, to me, it seems like he's unconscious and maybe he perhaps needs some rest, but I can't see how we can help him. Do you know how we can help him?
He's like he's holding his son. Like you know that he's a dwarf and his son is an elf, and that to you that just doesn't match up. So what he says is he's just, "Please, upstairs. I will explain everything. Please, I have a way to fix this. I think he might have a bone or two broken." And he gestures you to like follow him upstairs.
Do I'll carry him, the boy upstairs?
No,
I guess?
he won't let you carry the boy. He's
Okay.
holding on tight. He's panicking right at this moment. He just holds
Okay.
onto his son.
I like close the shop very fast and like sprint upstairs.
Okay.
Oh, since my sister is going there, I'm going there as well.
Okay. So he gestures you upstairs. He like, "Bjorn, you close the bar real quick. You put up the cups and you slam the doors. You put on like this really, this really rusty like lock on the door. You know that's not gonna, that one of these days this is gonna break. But you're like, at this moment you don't care about that. So you just close it and you just dart upstairs. Yeah. And when you guys get upstairs, he's already placed the son on a bed he has. You notice that this tavern also has a top part that's an inn. But it only has 2 rooms, and one of the rooms seems to be occupied. The room is locked, but the other one is, the door is right open, and you guys can enter, and you can see Bjorn at the foot of the bed, and his son is lying down, and he's just brokenhearted right now. And he just says, "Bjorn, if you could go to my house, pick up some medical supplies. I may have a way to fix this, but I need my wife's medical supplies. Can you please go pick them up?"
Sure, and Bjorn darts off to get the stuff.
Okay. He says, "Please, please, can you help him? The house is a mess. I don't think he'll know where to find them."
Okay.
Should one of the elves go? Because they're elves? I don't mind going either.
So you 3 go with Bjorn. You 2 go with Bjorn. You go by. Let me just, because I'm setting up my dice here. As you go down the stairs, you notice that on your right is a fountain in the middle of the town square, which it's like a little bit of a lake, a little small little puddle there. It used to be a fountain of one of the kings. But it's the statue's completely torn apart, and the only thing you see left is just a little puddle of water that looks really dirty. It hasn't been cleaned in a while. So you 3 dart past it, and you go to the last. Bjorn, you know what it is. It's the last house on the third row of houses. And you know that every row of houses you go by, the shittier it gets. So, like, the lowest of the low live on the back door. You go to the last house on the last corner, and you notice that everybody's sleeping at this point. It's completely dark outside. And I want everybody that went with Bjorn to roll me a perception check.
How the hell you have negative perception?
I mean, a few minutes ago, I just spoken with an officer like it's nothing.
Okay. Bjorn and Leah, you guys don't see, you guys are just like walking along, like the panic is just getting to you. You just don't notice anything that's going on. Zanaris, you with your keen eye, you notice that the front of the house is unlocked. The door is unlocked.
I touch Bjorn and I say, is this supposed the door to be unlocked?
No, it shouldn't. And Bjorn looks confused.
And I suddenly just get on guard, totally trying to look everywhere for anything.
Can I
And
investigate the lock?
So you go up to the door?
Yeah.
Okay. As you go up to the door, you notice that there are shadowy figures moving inside of the house.
This is fishy.
Leah noticed it or Al?
Leah walked. Did you guys all walk up to the door, or does only Leah walk up to the door?
I'll go with her. Everywhere she goes, I'll go.
So,
I'm just following notes too right now.
yeah, right. The officer is here. Like I gotta play by the rules for a second. You guys walk up to the door and you notice there are like shadowy figures moving in the house. I'm assuming everybody has dark vision here.
I did.
Okay, so everybody has dark vision here. So you notice that there are 2 goblins inside the house. What do you guys?
2 goblins.
2 goblins.
Takes out Pulaski very carefully out of his back.
I draw one of my daggers from my pocket.
I open the door.
And then I need everybody to roll initiatives. Okay, so the first one to act is Zenaris. You have 2 goblins rummaging to the house and they have their weapons drawn at you. What do you do?
I yell at them, I scream at them. And I say, hey, what are you doing here? This is not your house.
They just laugh at you and point their daggers.
I take out my sword.
Okay.
As a bonus action.
You are about, let's say, 10 feet away from them.
But I just talk. Can I attack?
No, yeah. Talking is a free action. You can talk in your
Okay,
turn.
then
If it's
I'm going to attack them.
if you can talk to them if it's like less than 3 sentences. Let's say that.
They point their swords at me. Yeah, I'm going to attack them.
Okay. So you attack them. Oh, roll the attack.
That's definitely a hit,
That's
right?
definitely a hit. That is a 9. And you just slice this goblin in half.
Ooh.
You just destroy this goblin, and the other one just looks scared shitless. And you just
Way to go, sis.
yeah. Next in the initiative order is the other actually let's say the first one already died, so the second one is gonna this one is dead. So Bjorn, it's your turn. You have a goblin right in front of you, 10 feet away from you.
Bjorn starts to run up to the goblin, and as he saw how the first goblin fell just in one hit, and he doesn't see any other goblins, right?
No, he doesn't see any. You don't see any other goblins.
Okay. He takes his Pulaski and hits with the shovel part. He tries to hit goblin in the head, so he knocks him out.
Okay.
He tries to do that.
Yeah.
Let's see if he succeeds. No, he doesn't.
No, I know. You swing. You're so in panic that your friend just asked you this favor. And you're in panic, seeing great axe that just messed with your head, and you swing wildly. But it misses wildly. The goblin just goes like. Okay, next in the order is the other goblin, and he just looks astonished that this guard just slashed his friend in half. So he goes like, and you just hear this really loud whistle, and he tries to swing at you, Xanaris. So he's gonna roll. Okay, he tries to like swing his little scimitar at you. That is a 23. That's a hit. He hits you for 5 points of damage.
Alright.
If he hits me or he
No, he hits Xanaris for 5 points of damage.
Oh, okay.
And
Don't worry.
as soon as he swings his sword, I want everybody to roll me a perception check.
Can I roll for me?
Yeah, you need to roll as well because I want to know if you heard the whistle.
If your rules are on point.
He doesn't hear the whistle.
No. Joey, you're just listening to this dwarf sob and like try to take care of his son, and you're a little bit. The ale he served you was a little bit too much for your stomach. Somehow, something you ate today made you a little bit more drunk than you're used to. Because you're a pretty good dealer with drinks, but today you're like, ugh, and you just don't hear this really loud whistle.
Alright.
Bjorn, you sense that something is moving and lurking around the house. So do you, Xanaris. But Leah, you just recognize the footsteps of a wolf. But they're just not one wolf. And all of a sudden, there are two wolves at the entrance of the house next to you. And that is actually that wolf's turn. So, that wolf goes ahead and is gonna go and attack Yulia. Because you're...
Can I technically be in an advantage since I noticed that they're there?
Natural 20. Like, total advantage. He hits you. I assume a 20 is a hit.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so he hits you for 5 points of damage.
Oh, that's not nice.
Okay, and that's it for that wolf's turn. And okay, so that brings it to you, Leah. What do you do?
In what distances are all of the enemies, basically?
You have two wolves right next to you, and you
So
have...
that's like 5 meters, right?
Yeah, no, just right in front of you. Like you
Right,
can
okay.
like right in front of you, and 10 feet away from you, like from the doorway where you are, is the dwarf, and he seems to be fighting Xanaris.
Because I'm pretty bloodied after that wolf bite. I can assume I'm gonna go and attack him with my rapier and hope that I won't die in the first hour of the session.
No.
Something blame Joey.
Yeah, if someone blame Joey, yeah.
I'm drunk.
That is a hit. That wolf is dead. You just punch her like his eye, and he just goes like, and he
yeah.
just falls down and just dies.
I like punching guys.
Okay, so that wolf is just dead. So that brings us back to Xanaris. You have a wolf in the doorway, which you now can see with your eyes, and you have this goblin who looks like he pissed himself. Like he's completely pissed. Like not pissed in the angry way. He's pissed because he actually just peed himself when you cut his friend in half.
Can I grab him by the neck?
Sure. Roll.
Do I have to roll for it?
You need to roll me a. That would be a strength, right? It would be a strength check.
Acrobatics or athletics?
Yeah, acrobatics or athletics.
That's fine.
Oh, you grab him by the neck, like you grab him like this, like by the neck, and you just lift him out of the ground. And what do you want to do with him?
I look at his face real close and I tell him, call the wolves off right now or I will kill you.
When you do that, when you're trying to talk to him, you just notice that his the tube that like the trachea is just completely dislodged, and he can't call off the wolves because his throat is out of place because you broke his trachea, and he's just like he's just grasping for air. And I'm gonna roll next turn, like when he goes.
Can I just do anything else?
You can kill him if you want, because he's dying.
I'll throw him at the wolf.
Okay, roll me a d20, just to see how accurately you do that.
Don't hit me.
Yeah, you throw him at one of the wolves. Roll me a 1d4. Okay, you throw him at the wolf, and he just he hits his scimitar's like he had a scimitar on his side, but as he's panicking, when you throw him, the scimitar just goes flying with him, and it hits the wolf clean in the gut, and this wolf is really bloodied right now.
Right.
Okay, so that goblin's he's not dead yet, but he's he's grasping for air. He's trying to hold on to the floor. He's scratching his nails on the floor, trying to crawl for help, but I don't think he's gonna make it. So that brings us to Bjorn. You have a goblin in the floor grasping for air, and a wolf that looks has a scimitar on its side.
What does Bjorn know about Zenaris?
You know that she is one of private, so she handles patrols around towns. You know that she's not as powerful as a corporal or a general. The armor is completely different. The insignias are different. You know that she regularly comes to the bar with that lizard folk. But apart from that, you don't know. On a personal level, you don't know a lot about her.
Okay. As this happened in front of him, how Zenaris just choked the goblin, he just says to himself, I guess all of you privates are bastards in some way, and then he just runs and tries to put down Wolf out of his misery. I assume that's a miss.
That is a miss. That is a miss. You swing wildly, but just the wolf he's hampering.
Swinging randomly.
So that brings us to the wolf, and he at this moment he's just fighting for his life, but he sees his master fall down, so he just walks up to his master and tries to check for orders, but his master just can't reply, so he just stands there for the rest of his turn. For the 6 seconds, he just stands there. That brings us to the goblin, and I'm gonna roll a d20 to determine if he somehow survives this, but we need a pretty big roll. I shit you not. I shit you not. That is a natural 20. Somehow,
I'm actually glad.
Somehow, he punches his trachea back into place, and he goes and you can see him say a lot of swear words in common, and then a lot of things in goblin, what you perceive as goblin, and he looks scared, and that's his turn, that's him trying to revive himself, but he looks scared as shit. And that brings us finally to Leah. That's you.
I walk up to the goblin still holding my dagger and walk up closer to him and ask him what the hell are you doing here in this house?
He just tells you, we raid, we kill, we pillage. You should know that. You guys know that goblins in this world are just wild creatures. They just live to pillage, kill, and just kill and take shit.
And at the same time, I think to myself, but what is he doing here? I mean, sure, it's a lowest part of the city, but it's still in the city.
Actually, for that, roll me a wisdom check. Just a wisdom check.
Not the wise person in it.
Okay. You just figured, house raid pillage. That's what you perceive it.
Sure, cool.
That's what you just perceive it. And you go all the way back to Zenaris, and you look at this goblin, and you don't know how he put his trachea back into place. But somehow I imagine you looked pleased that he survived.
Can I walk up to him?
Sure.
I walk up to him and I want to I want to arrest him.
You want to arrest him? Okay.
Yes.
Roll me. He's gonna roll against you. He's gonna roll a dexterity. You roll. You can roll your strength or your dexterity. Which one do you want? You can roll a sleight of hand.
Dexterity.
Just roll me the sleight of hand then.
Sleight of hand.
Yeah, he's gonna roll just the dexterity saving throw.
That's not gonna happen.
Okay, I don't need to. That's a critical one. You try to arrest him, but he's so scared of you that you do this. Try to like lock the handcuffs in, but you notice that he has his hands like stretched out. When you try to close them, he just pulls them really quickly, and you close it, and they're closed now. So you might have to spend like your bonus action to unlock them if you want. But that'll be your turn if you want to just unlock.
No, I'm gonna speak to him and I'm gonna say, you saw the life of your friend just flash in front of you. Did you think you're going to live with your two wolves? And you just risked the life of your wolf as well. What do you think is gonna happen next?
He looks really scared because he knows what you're capable of. He looks really scared and he says, more will come! More blood! More pillage! And that brings us to Bjorn. What do you do?
Bjorn just takes... Bjorn just like looks at the situation and then he realizes he's not needed here. And he just goes in the mansion with Pulaski in his hand if case there's some other goblins in here, and he's like trying to find the medical kit.
Okay, roll me a perception first.
Nope.
Okay, you're still in a fuss about like the ambush of goblins, so you start like rummaging through some things, but you don't notice that the rest of the the house looks slightly moved. We'll see how this goes. But you're rummaging through things, but you're not finding it. But
yeah.
Do I notice that Bjorn starts to search for things?
Sure, roll me a perception check because you're in conversation with the guy.
Oh,
No,
fuck's
you're in deep conversation with this goblin, and you just don't notice that Bjorn went to the house.
Okay.
That brings us to the goblin, and he's gonna try and just run, he doesn't care about the wolf anymore. He just wants to like leg it. So that prompts an opportunity attack by both Leah and Zanaris.
Can't I just kind of try to react and catch him? Or do I have to really attack him?
This would be an opportunity attack on him. Like if you want to grab him, it will still be an opportunity attack. But yeah, you can grab him if you want. You just roll me like an acrobatics or an athletics. Yeah, which one? Either you attack him or you try to grab him. You grab his ass. He's in the floor. He's like crawling, trying to like get out. Let me go! He screams, and then he says some goblin things, but you don't understand goblin, so he's like gibberish to you. That brings us to the wolf, and the wolf he's trying to like he's barely holding on to his life at this point. He just tries to like walk away, and that gives you an opportunity attack, Leah.
How badly is the wolf wounded?
Really wounded. You can see blood and guts like on his side. He's
But the kind of wounded that he's not gonna survive on its own.
Probably not.
So I just try to put him out of his misery. I would leave him if there would be a chance for it to survive, but if he's like really like wounded, it's no point in that.
That is unfortunately a miss. You're like really careful trying to like end his misery, and in that process you don't realize that he's still kicking a little bit. So you try to like poke, like just
I mean, it's a wounded animal, of course.
yeah, you just want to poke him and just like moves a little bit away and like whines a little bit, but
shit.
nothing else. So he moves like 20 feet away from you, and you can see like the scimitar falls off, and he just starts like walking, and there's a trail of blood leading like towards the woods. So that brings us back to Zanaris. Actually, that brings us to Leah. That's your turn, actually. No, it's Leah. It's Leah's turn.
She just tried to poke the wolf.
Yeah, that was her opportunity attack. Right?
Oh.
Yep.
That was
I can just try attack it again.
Yeah, like you're gonna have to move into like he moved like 15 feet away from you.
Yeah.
15, 20 feet away
Still
from you.
okay. I guess I'm just like kind of, since I saw that he's trying to like fight back or protect and run away, I'm just kind of trying to move faster and attack him.
Yeah, you poke him and he just goes like, just falls down and dies.
That's
So
sad.
that's combat is over. Combat is over. So you have a goblin on your ass.
I want to interrogate
A
him.
new pet.
Okay, you want to give me just a second. You'll interrogate me in a little bit. Okay, so you want to interrogate him. Okay, so what do you ask him? Like, you have him in cuffs right now, because like right now he's just like he doesn't have his weaponry. His wolf just died, so he's just like, oh, I'm not getting out of this life, so might as well just try to bark on my way. So you are trying to interrogate him. What do you tell him? What do you ask him?
What did you take from this house?
Why should I tell you?
Why shouldn't you?
I got nothing to lose not telling you anything. Okay, so he doesn't look like he's gonna tell you anything.
It doesn't look like he is gonna tell anything to me, right? I guess
Since he's pretty frightened now already.
because Zana is not the kind of person that torture.
Yeah.
She was really mad at the fact because we are in kind of a hurry, and I don't want to question him anymore. I want to search for things and take him with me to see if anyone recognized the guy. If not, I don't even know if I'm gonna arrest him. I wanted to just secure him.
Okay, so you have him in cuffs, and you have a little bit of a little chain like linking you to you, and he's like being pushed around by you. So I assume you all three go inside the house. I need you two to roll me perception checks.
You two who?
Probably me.
Leah and Zanaris.
Because Bjorn is like looking in the house for the medical kit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, medical kit.
Which one?
Just perception. Just perception.
Perception. Why do I always do perception? It's fucking shit.
Okay then. Zanaris, you're preoccupied with keeping this goblin in check, because he looks like he's ready to at any second just dart out, even cuffed and everything. But you, Leah, you notice that this house is a mess. Like, everything is tossed upside down, drawers are emptied, and you look at, and Bjorn is just looking through a pile of like documents. You can see like these old plates made out of like clay, like just broken, and he's tossing them apart, trying to check for the medicine. And as you do that, you notice that there is a candle lit on the upstairs floor, and there seems to be a shadow of a figure on the upstairs floor, like on the staircase. So the way this is like there's a little cupboard at the entrance, like at where the dwarf was searching. There is just a table, just no chairs, just a table, a bed, like in this floor, and there is a little staircase in the corner just leading up.
Can I just show to everyone some sign that like to be quiet?
Yeah.
But not like speaking, but just getting everyone's attention and just like just fucking quiet. And like I show to the like stairs to like I know it's like a gesture of saying like there's someone there or like
Okay.
something there.
Okay. So you two were just told that there is somebody upstairs.
I try to keep the goblin quiet.
Okay. So you hold.
And
How do you
because
do
he-
that? I'm just wondering. How do you do that?
Can like
put a sock in his mouth.
the moment when like you show the Bjorn there's someone upstairs and Bjorn notices the goblin, he looks he looks at you, and he like points at goblin to him, like shows goblin him. He points at you both and like shows you there, and then he points at the goblin so that the goblin notices him, and he points at his giant Pulaski.
Roll me an intimidation check with disadvantage because this guy just does not get what you're trying to say.
Okay. Like Bjorn is not smart. Intimidation, yeah?
Yeah, intimidation.
Okay.
Okay, roll me 2 times, so let's see. Okay.
That's perfect.
Okay, when you're like doing the finger thing, like look at me, look at you, I look at me, look at you, and you're trying to like these two understand completely what you're saying. Like Zanati's having her military training, she understands you completely. She's like she starts nodding like yeah, I got you. Leah, since she's like she's shifty, like you know that she's kind of a criminal. She looks at you and she goes like, and then you look at the goblin, and his face, like he's green. He's got these little like braids at the end of his like neck, and a little necklace with like some animal teeth. And when you say that, his expression comes from like just like looking to like see if a way to escape to just wide mouth. Inigo's completely white. And I'm assuming you trade with Zanati's holding the goblin, and you two dart like try to go upstairs.
Okay.
Can I go first and go like in stealthy?
Sure, roll me a
Yeah,
stealth check.
I just touch you on the shoulder and tell you kind of to go first.
Sure, you're stealthy, not too stealthy, but stealthy.
Creeping. I'm good at it. Okay? I'm creeping upstairs and trying to get the look of what is there, like or who is there.
When you go upstairs, you start going like really close. Like it's like 3 steps, and then there's a little bit of a square. Then there's like 6 steps, and then there's the floor. So you go up up to 3, and you peek a little bit, and you notice that actually roll me a history. This would be kind of a history. You notice there's a guy with robes upstairs.
I didn't go to school, I guess.
You notice there's a guy with robes upstairs, and he seems to be just he's holding this pouch, and he's just grabbing coins, and he seems to be counting money.
Do I see any weapons on him?
You don't notice any weapons on him.
Can I try to go like behind him and not necessarily attack him, but like tackle him down?
Sure. Roll me in athletics or acrobatics. Which one? Whatever one. I assume you're like she takes a step, then she takes another, and then the second step you take one. So it's like I'm behind you, but
Yeah.
And this should be with an advantage since he can't really notice me.
he can't notice you. That was okay.
12.
Okay. When you try to go behind him to try and tackle him, and the moment you touch him, you notice that he turns around really quickly, and he takes from the inside of his robe, he just takes one dagger and points it at your neck. And the moment he does that and turns around, you notice this is the same lizard folk that was in the tavern earlier. And he points the dagger at you. He does not look happy. And he says, "Who are you?"
Can I just ask him back, who are you and what are you doing here?
Sure. When you ask him like who okay, so you ask him who are you? He says, I am Kundri. I am this town's tax collector. I have come to take a dividend from Pick.
Can he be collecting tax in this kind of situation with
Yeah.
no one being
He
inside?
has
Just, take,
he has enough authority to just
go in and take
go
it?
in and take any money he wants to.
Okay, so in that case, I guess I'll just back off and be like, okay, cool,
Okay,
my mistake.
Okay, Xanaris, roll me a perception check. You're just fascinated by this robe.
She rolled one.
Yeah, this robe just looks really pretty. Like, it looks pristine. I mean,
Probably a
it
new
has
robe.
golden laces at the ending. Like,
Oh boy!
it is amazing. And you haven't seen this guy around. He comes like once a month, so you have seen him a couple of times, but you've never noticed the amount of detail in that robe, and it's astonishing. As he's talking to Leah and he's like telling like her who he is, you notice that one of the doors was open, and this door is to Bjorn's room. Bjorn, you're still downstairs looking for things, I assume. You notice that he leaves, like a human comes out of that door and he says, "Kundri, sir, nothing found here. That money seems to be the only one of the premises." And Kundri just looks at the pouch. It looks like the pouch is almost empty. Like the pouch is too much to hold the money. You know when you have like your wallet is like full of like pennies? Like this is how this looks. Like it just has a little bit of gold at the end. And he says, 3 gold should suffice. And he puts the bag inside his robe, and he looks at Yulia and says, "I assume this discussion is over."
Yeah, sure.
He just walks away, and as he passes you, Xanaris, he looks at you and says, "Keep up the good work," and just keeps walking. And this, do you say that out loud?
No.
Okay.
She
It's in your mind, right? You're like, oh, motherfucker.
Of course.
She should just whisper at the rope like, "Man, that's a pretty rope." As he like passes by.
The human goes by you, and you notice, Xanaris, that this human is one that just entered like the military academy. So he does not know what to do. He's shaking. He just doesn't know what to say. Like he's just like, "I was told to search this house," and he goes by you and he says, "Private," and just keeps walking. Just sighs at you and just keeps walking. Bjorn, a lizard folk comes down from the staircase with a human following it. What do you do?
Bjorn looks surprised because he didn't expect the tax collector in this house, but I assume he knows that he has authority to do that, right?
Yeah, you know that this guy can just, like, if you don't pay tax, he can just barge in and take whatever he wants.
Yeah, he just like sees him, and he waves at him. And smiles like, "Hi."
Just wave and smile.
Okay, roll me a charisma check to see how good your wave and smile are. Because you know lizard folk are like really, really cold. They just don't have any emotions. And that's like, you wave. It's a nice wave. It's nothing spectacular.
Yeah.
And he looks at you, and he doesn't care about your wave, but he walks up to you and says, "Bjorn, you pay well. Fun fact, did you know why I call you Bjorn?" And you know Kuri at, like, not at a personal level, but since he comes collecting your taxes for 2 years now, you know exactly who he is, and he knows exactly who you are.
No.
And
I do not.
he puts his you see his hand leave his robe, and again this robe looks expensive as fuck. And he puts his hand on his shoulder and he says, we do not name things. We do not care for names. We call things how we see it. Pick is not pick for me. That is a dwarven name. I see it as dwarf who sells Yale. But you are a different specimen. I do not know what to call you. Dwarf that serves ale does not sound fitting. Dwarf that likes ale sounds more fitting, but that's too long. That's why I call you Bjorn. It's much simpler. You might be the only specimen I do that to. He kind of means this in like a compliment way, but he's not sure how to compliment people, so he just goes like, that was a compliment, by the way.
Okay. Bjorn feels kindish happy, but confused at the same time, because he blushes a bit, because like it's the only compliment he has gotten in lately, because like only like no one appreciates his talents for the beer and stuff like that, for ale, like appreciate taste, especially the very often visitor Joey, because he usually calls his taste very bad.
Uh-huh.
So that's like he appreciates the compliment.
Okay.
And he says thanks, like he stuttered.
He just says, you don't need to thank me. This is just my job. And he's gesturing for this like human cadet to join him. But then he stops. He like points his hand towards the cadet, and the cadet just goes like, what did I do wrong? And he says, what was his name? Oh, Gilbert, see that these folks get the proper care they need. I'll see you back in the barracks. And he walks out of the door, and you just see like he looks at this goblin, and he doesn't care. Like he was upstairs rummaging through stuff because he heard the goblins, but he was like, I'm just here to collect money. And he already searched the downstairs, so he's figured like, who cares? He just walks out, and Gilbert just looks at you guys, and he takes out like 2 very small doses of what you assume is healing potion. And he looks at you, and like Leah has like a giant cut on her arm from the wolf bite, and sometimes you're like you have like a scar like here on your neck from like the scimitar of the goblin hitting you. So he just hands like these little like vials to you guys, and he just says, please, and he's visibly shaking, like he's really shaking. He's like, he gives it to you. Do you guys accept?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay, he then like puts his hands like to his sides, like this, like he's like holding it, and he just waits for you to.
You roll some stats.
What
for
if
that?
I don't want to drink?
He's just gonna wait.
I'm superior, right?
You're a superior. You're clearly a superior. Not by a lot, but yeah, you're a superior.
Could this potion help the elf at the inn? At the bar?
You would assume it could help him, but he's not gonna let you like walk away if he doesn't see you drink. Because he was just instructed to see if for your well-being, and he sees that you are.
I look at him and I raise my eyebrow like I don't like it, but then I'll drink the potion.
Okay.
Can I like try just like drinking mine fast, and then like with the sleight of hand or something, just like trying to switch the potion with like and like hiding the empty bottle with like my sister's full bottle?
Sure. Roll me a sleight of hand.
And just watch me roll like a 1. Oh no.
Yeah, boy.
You switch the vials really quickly, and like Gilbert is just
I'm
like
good at that shit.
he's like he's like okay. Are you all okay? Did the goblins do you harm?
I
Oh,
just
yeah.
look at Gilbert like Just their face. We're fine, Gilbert. You can go.
Okay. And he just darts out of the house, like just darts.
And I just like scream at him like, "Great potion, boy!"
So who of you drink it?
I did.
Okay.
She did.
Okay. You regain your wounds just seal up really quickly, and you regain 4 hit points.
Don't forget to remember that you have that one other potion. I didn't use it.
Yeah, technically I
So-
grabbed her potion.
Yeah.
I look at Bjorn and I ask him if he found anything.
Did I find anything?
You didn't find anything.
Beyond
So
just shows no. He doesn't.
so I tell Talia we wasted way too much time. We need to find
Sure.
that medicine for the poor little boy. And I go back to searching the upstairs.
Okay. You guys can roll.
Can
You
I roll like some investigation since the house is trashed?
yeah.
and
You can just roll investigations, all of you.
While they are rolling, question: do we can you sell like captured creatures?
Or keep them as a pet.
You don't. I'm gonna tell you right now. Goblins are perceived here as like they're animals. Like it's like a goblin or a brown bear. People just don't see the difference. It's like it's wildlife, you know, because they secluded themselves like to the outside. Same for orcs. Orcs in this world only live in the woods and they pillage and they kill. Nothing else. They don't care for like relationships and trading. They just want to kill, pillage. That's why some villages have like fortified walls to like protect themselves from like orc villages. And you know that most woods are like inhabited by these creatures. So it's like it's considered very dangerous and very brave to venture into these woods at night when they hunt.
Okay. Do they have circus in this world?
No, they don't have a circus in this world.
Oh, goddamn.
You guys are having ideas there, weren't you?
Yeah, I was thinking of keeping him as a pet, really.
I wanted to say, what is that Atti's idea?
No, it was mine.
Because he's prone to doing that or hanging people off the trees.
Oh my god, what the hell, dude?
Yeah, we can keep him as a pet.
It's from older D&D sessions.
Okay, Xanaris, can you roll me an investigation as well?
Mm-hmm.
Did you roll investigation? Because you just rolled the 1d20.
0
Yep,
modifier.
it's 0.
Oh, okay.
So same for Bjorn, it's also a 0 modifier. You guys are just rummaging through, but this place is an absolute mess. Everything's torn apart. The drawers were punched through to see if they were fake. And these goblins are really smart. And as you're rummaging through,
Even
Leah,
my roll wasn't enough?
no,
Oh, okay.
you find some coins that the lizard folk didn't find in a little pouch under the table, sealed, taped to the bottom of the table. And if you look inside, you know there are 4 gold pieces in there.
Okay.
You assume they belong to
Pick.
Pick. Bjorn, you sense that you should check your room because you saw them leaving upstairs.
Yeah, that would be the first place I would look after I saw that they left my room. So what do I see there?
You take the goblin upstairs, he's
Yeah,
being pushed
still
up the
in chain.
stairs, yeah. And you get up to your room. The door is open because Gilbert was there, and you open the door and you see that your room is completely intact. Nothing was rummaged through. Gilbert just opened your drawers to check your things, but since you keep your money on your person, he found just general everyday stuff, nothing special. But under the bed, you found a piece of paper.
I pick up the piece of paper.
Okay. Do you check it? It's folded.
Yeah. If I pick up, okay, I check the piece of paper.
Okay. The piece of paper has a little note inside there, and it says, "I'm sorry," and it's signed Gilbert.
Oh.
Bjorn gets this warm feeling in his heart, and he like puts the paper in his bag, like.
Gilbert, when you guys saw him like go down the stairs, like he tripped, like he was just panicking. He's like, okay, first job. So that's it. You guys don't find any medical kit. You can assume like either the goblin has it or it's just not there anymore.
For the record, I do take the money pouch in reason of giving it to him since his house just basically got flipping wrecked.
Okay.
And that's the last money that he has left.
Yeah. So it's 3 gold pieces, right?
I think you said 4.
4. Okay. So what do you guys do? You have a goblin chained. You don't have the medicine. What do you guys do?
Assume you go. At least Bjorn goes with the goblin to the first floor, and he starts to become a bit frustrated that there's no medicine here.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks at the goblin. He takes out his Pulowski. He looks at it. He looks at the goblin, and he just says, "Tell me what you took, or else." And like he just like shows Pulowski, and like he looks at the goblin expecting some kind of answer from him.
Okay, if you guys don't know what a Pulowski is we homebrewed this weapon. It's basically a shovel pickaxe. No, it's a shovel axe.
An axe.
It's a shovel that's like, it's sharpened on the edges to like he can work it as an axe or shovel, and it's a 2-handed weapon.
I assume the goblin is still frightened of the.
The goblin just he doesn't like the presence like of creatures that he doesn't perceive. So he like since the lizard folk like went by him, he's a little bit frightened still by your Poloski, but he just looks at you and he says, "I didn't take anything."
Can I roll insight to check if he's lying?
Yeah. Whoa, natural 20. You know that he's lying his teeth off. Like he's like I didn't take anything. And you see him like looking like side to side, like he's really nervous.
Bjorn starts to like he's holding right now Pulowski like in one hand and chain another, and he's like moving his hand like stretching a bit, and he tells Goblin, "You sure?"
Roll me. No, you don't need to roll me an intimidation because he just like okay, and he tries to like move his hands for his like pocket, but he can't because he's handcuffed. So he goes like,
Yeah.
The right side.
Bjorn checks the right side of Goblin. What does he have in there?
You find Bjorn's silverware.
Yeah. Okay. He takes it, puts it in his bag.
He looks at you and he just says, "I don't know what you're looking for, but I don't have it. That's all I took. Please." Like at a point he was just trying to leave, but right now he knows I'm gonna die here, so he's just shitting himself. Like one person dislodged his trachea. Another one is like threatening him with a shovel. Like his goblin days he knows are over.
Bjorn hands over the chain to Zenaris.
And I tell him, "What about your friend? Do you know if he took anything?"
I didn't know if he took anything. You could check. He's right there where you chopped him in half. Like when he says chopped in half, you see like his voice cracks like chopped him in half. Actually, okay. As he says that, can everybody roll me a perception check? Actually, don't roll me. What is your passive perception for everybody?
-1?
No, passive perception. It's
Mine's 10.
10.
Then I guess it's 11.
Okay.
It's 10 plus.
I in my mind I set this DC at 10. So everybody but Leah notices that this guy shit himself.
Can I at least start smelling it?
Sure, roll me a perception check. See if you smell the stench of shit in his.
As you notice it, he goes to that goblin with a nice look if something's there because he doesn't want to be near.
No, smells like roses to you, Leah. Smells like roses.
I guess the aroma of the crappy town,
Yeah.
area of the town is out doing the shit smell.
Okay, so what do you guys want to do now? Wait, Bjorn, what did you say you were gonna do?
As I noticed that he shifts himself beyond, like, went to search the other goblin because, like, he doesn't want to be near that.
Yeah, okay. In this goblin's corpse, you find what is supposed to be a potion, which you assume Pick asked you to get. But the problem is the potion is cracked and it completely leaked out on the floor because the goblin dropped it when you got in, because when he was like looking through, he found it, he walked in, he dropped it, and it's cracked on the ground like right next to him, and the fluid is completely poured out.
Okay.
You find like 3 silver on him, but nothing else, and his scimitar if you want to take it.
Is it good quality?
No, it's like completely rust. He has a shit ton of dents in it.
I just take the silver and as I pick up like piece of potion, you can just hear Bjorn swearing.
Okay, so what do you guys?
And I asked him, did you find anything?
But a broken potion. That's it. God damn it.
Then we should go back to Pick and see if he has any other solution for this.
So what are you guys gonna do about the goblin?
Gonna drag him alone.
Gonna drag him along to Pick's house?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then she can take him to the station while we can move back to the pig's house.
You really want to split the party again?
No, it's never a choice, but
Okay. What happens is we're gonna like time lapse backwards. As this all went down, Joey, you are in his house and you see that Pick looks completely distraught, and you start to wonder, why does he have an elven son? Like, you're an elf, like the kid is an elf, but he's a dwarf. Like, that doesn't add up.
A peasant. That boy, he's an elf, but he's your son, so he's not actually yours, is he?
Pick looks at you like with tears in his eyes, and he tries to wipe them. And you notice, like, as he's wiping it, that his arms, like, this guy's packing. He's got like this really big, muscly arm, even though it's oldish. Like, he's really old. You can see that this guy, back in the day, this guy could crack your skull in like one swing. And he looks at you and he says, "My wife was a elf. When the purge hit, she decided to live in the town instead of rebelling against the state. That was probably the right call, since the others got eviscerated. The problem is my wife couldn't keep her mouth shut. So what happened was, one day she got killed. And she couldn't take the pain of being undead, so she killed herself. And she left behind her son with another elf. And I've been taking care of him ever since."
that's fucked up.
I mean, do you know where she went for the other elf?
She often told me stories of him, but I've never met him. He apparently what he did was he joined Krone's forces and went along, but she couldn't be with him because he was a tainted man. She was the only one who found compassion for a slave, and he shows you his mark, and he has the marking of a slave. And you notice that mark is exactly the same as yours. And he says, I bought my freedom.
So did I.
And he when you say that, he gets a little more teary-eyed, and he says, "Okay, your friends should be coming back real soon. I hope."
They're
And
not my friends.
like he says like your friends, but like when he means like the other people.
Okay.
Yeah, but you know Bjorn. You know Bjorn. Bjorn serves you drinks.
I mean, he's still not my friend.
Yeah, but he serves you drinks. Like you know him. Like you know him. So okay, you guys go back to Pix, or do you guys go to the barracks?
I mean, we probably go back to Pick, because the mission was to get the kids some meds.
You guys go back to Pick. You go up the stairs. You take the goblin with you, and you can see the chain is like hitting the wood of the stairs upstairs. And as he hears the sound, he Pick leaves, and he looks at the doorway, and he sees you like walk in with a goblin in hand. And he says, Why is a goblin here?"
I won't know.
It so happens that your house was robbed by two different people.
While Zanaris is talking, that Bjorn takes out the silverware and puts it somewhere on table.
Yeah,
assume,
on
bar
yeah.
table.
Now on that you're in the inn, so you put it like on the nightstand, like okay, like
Yeah.
here's what I salvaged, and he turns to Zanaris and says, "What do you mean, two people?"
I walk up closer to him before she says anything and kind of quietly hand him the rest of the pouch of the gold, saying that this is the only thing that I could find after them.
Like he looks at the pouch, looks at you, Zanaris, and like he's confused.
So when we walked in, we found two goblins, and we thought that was the only thing happened in your house. But so happened that I can't remember the name of the lizard folk.
You remember that his name is Kuri.
Kuri.
Yeah, Kuri.
Kuri. So
Well, basically, he got taxed.
Kuri was on the top floor, and he so happened to be searching for your things. And it happened that he did take some gold from your house.
He was afraid this was gonna happen, and you see him like he looks at the pouch and looks like there's only 4 gold in there, and he starts like
And I look at him and say, I think he took about 3 gold from upstairs. That's all they found.
as you say the 3 gold, he knows that this is the only thing he probably has left. And Bjorn, can you roll me an insight check?
Yep. Oh, God damn it.
Okay, yeah, like to you, like this guy just looks like he doesn't have a thing left in the world. He grabs the gold and he says, "Bjorn, I can't pay you any more than this." And he hands you the gold and says, "This is all I have left." He's like trying to hand you the gold.
Does Bjorn know how much he needs to pay to those guys?
You know that he needs to pay around 100 gold a week, so around 400 gold per month.
And he's handing me those 3 golds.
Yeah,
4
4 gold pieces because
4 gold pieces.
because he wants to still pay you.
Bjorn turns him down and he says, I have my stash collected for past months. You need it more than me right now.
You seem like he packs the gold and he's shaking and he says, "The medicine. Did you find the medicine?"
And I kind of look a little bit more serious, and I tell him, unfortunately, it's broken.
But I go in and say, but I do have this flask that did some nice healing for me. I don't know if it's gonna be enough for the boy.
Give me this potion. I will handle it. I do take the potion and just go upstairs to the boy. And then I use my Cure Wounds magic to end my fucking mending cantrip that repairs the potion. I just take the samples of the potion that was in there and then do my magic thingy, whatever, with it, and try to heal the boy.
Okay, you can roll. You can roll the how much you heal him for. Okay. You see as the life starts surging back to him, and the kid just looks a lot better. Like he is not like conscious yet. He's like really drowsy, like, and Pick just starts smiling, like he's really happy right now. And he goes up and hugs you.
I just push him away and say, "Give me your fucking wine. Finally, I'm starving. I just really want a drink or two." Fuck
Okay.
you,
As you're saying, like, oh, I want a drink. He grabs, like, he has a little small cloak behind him, and you see him take out of his back, like you assume is like tied to his trousers, a bottle, and he gives you the bottle and says, "This is the best wine I have. Please take it."
I take it. I take a sip.
When you taste it, it tastes like probably the best wine you've had in a very long time. This is really good wine. He just gave you a really good bottle because he only sells like pristine customers. He goes to the bedside of his son. He tries to check if he's okay. He checks. The kid is fine. He looks a little bit groggy, but for the most part, he looks fine. He turns to you and he says, "For now, rest. Mend our wounds and our hearts. I was close to losing my son, but thanks to you, he's back. Thank you for searching. I guess I can't go back to my house at this point. I'll just stay here for the night. Bjorn, you can, you're free to stay if you wish, but I don't know how comfortable you are with sleeping in the same room as me."
Beyond the smiles, I have slept with a bear. I think this will not be a lot worse.
Okay, so you still have a goblin, and the goblin just like, he looks at all of this, and he goes like, "Boo-hoo, a kid almost died. Whoop-de-doo."
Can I lightly hit, like, with my feet the goblin and say, like, "Yeah, Zan, I think we need to take care of this one."
Can we hang him by the foot?
Sure, if you want to.
Yes?
Sure, you're gonna have to take it off of Bjorn's hands, but... Actually, no, Zanati's hands.
Zanari's hand.
You're gonna have to take it off of a police officer, but sure.
Well, give me the goblin.
What you gonna do with it?
I'm gonna hang him.
Maybe you could have some use. What if he could be your slave? What do you think? Just do the things you want?
I don't need the fucking goblin as my slave. I need him hanged, man.
I look at the goblin and I tell him, "You hear him? What do you have to say for yourself?"
When he heard the word hanged, he starts pulling at the chains and he says, "I'll do anything, please. Please, I meant no disrespect, please. Please."
Can you dance?
He starts dancing. Like, he just starts, like, dancing, "Hello, my baby, hello, my honey." You know, the, "Hello, my baby."
Performance for him,
Yeah, sure. Let's roll for him. Let's roll the best performance this guy's ever had. Let's see if you guys are impressed with this performance.
I mean, it's a performance of its life.
Yeah, it needs to be the performance of his life. Because he's really bad at this.
Okay.
That's a 0, everybody. That's a 1.
Rita, as Bjorn sees, as this goblin starts to dance, he goes to Zanari and he just tells, he points at Joey and he's like, give it to him. Give it to him.
The goblin starts dancing. Like, he's trying to like do like some sort of dance with his feet without moving his upper body. And he's like, "Hello, my baby," and then he trips and just hits his head on the side, and he's like, So what do you guys do with this failing dancing goblin?
It's sad, but I guess it's sort of no use for us. I believe.
He's trying to
Who
like.
votes for hanging him?
Shouldn't he technically be handled by the law? I mean, I'm not here that great,
lawful
but
good
law
character.
Yeah. You're lawful good. He's lawful good. You want to hang a
He's
goblin?
awful good and he also...
That can't be done.
Okay, I walk up to him. Well, tell me something interesting. Do you know any good stories about your hometown or your people?
He goes like, I know lots of stories. Stories with goblins, stories with wolves, stories with orcs. That's all I know.
Right. Tell me about your people.
I live as a small tribe, a couple of ways away. We just come here to steal food. That's it. And maybe some gold. Nothing else.
What if we let him go? And as a promise, he's gonna let Big's house alone.
I say we hang him.
We can't hang him.
What is the
failed
law
lawful
about
good.
stealing?
The law about stealing, for goblins, they're sent to jail, interrogated by like high authorities to find other tribes, and they get executed. Like when they're not useful. That's why he's scared shitless. He's like, if you hang me or arrest me, my fate is done. Like he's just trying to beg for his life.
I just look at the poor goblin, just like kind of laughingly saying like, I think this boy had a really bad day already.
He wants to like beg for his life. He's like on his knees at this point, like, please, I'll tell stories. I'll learn to dance better. I'll do anything, please.
I mean, as I said, at this point he had like not just a bad day, but like an extra bad day.
And this guy managed to punch his fucking throat back in place, so I think he kind of earned it.
Deserved a second chance.
If he doesn't raid the house again, then he can go.
Yeah,
So let's just threaten him,
That's
saying
what-
like, if we see you
exactly.
ever again, you're dead.
So you guys are letting him go.
No, he can be my dancing pet.
Okay. Do you uncuff him, or
Guess
do
we let him
you
live.
do you keep him cuffed?
okay. I'll
You get to go.
I get to go? For what?
Zanais, do you give him the chain with goblin?
Do you actually
as long as he promised they're not hanging.
do you take off his chains or not? His like cuffs and shit.
No,
He's going to run away if I do.
exactly.
You don't know that.
Okay, I promise I will not hang him by the head.
Okay. You don't know if he's gonna run away.
Can we just say like, since
Actually,
like,
roll me an insight to see if you know how like if he's gonna run away.
And like, in a sense, can we just like say if Zen is giving the goblin
I
to the
don't-
guy, just say basically like, if I see him dead, if I will know that he's dead, you'll know that there are laws for that.
Everybody, roll me the insight check. Not just none of us.
No.
He tells you, I promise I won't run away. And to you guys, it seems like he's telling the truth.
Sure, back.
Okay. I take off his chains.
Joey, do you have proficiency in intimidation? Actually, does anybody here has proficiency in intimidation?
I have.
Okay, what's your
No.
I do.
what's your guys' passive intimidation? When you take off his cuffs, he looks at the doorway to like see a way to just dart out of the way, but there is a military woman standing in the doorway, as well as a dwarf, an elf bard, and an elf rogue like standing in the doorway, and he just looks at you guys and says, I'm not gonna run away, let's face it, I'm gonna die if I try. And he just silently walks up to the bed and just like sits on the ground and just rests his head, and he starts like saying something in Goblin. But you guys assume this guy is too scared to run.
I ask his name.
My name is, let me check, I had it written. My name is Kazit.
Malkazit. I hope you help us a little bit because we are, well, you are just one step from dying all the way. So
Disabled apes better start dancing.
Okay,
exactly as I said.
he remembers his last performance and he just goes like hands to the face, just like humiliated. Is like, why did I come raiding today? Okay, so I assume you guys like turn in for the night.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, so Bjorn, you sleep in the same room as Pick. You guys, you two sleep on the floor. He sleeps like on the side of the bed, check on the sun. You sleep on the on the feet of the bed. Zanaris and Leah, I assume you guys live in the same house in the city.
Yeah.
In the village.
Yes.
And Joey, I know for a fact that you like to sleep outdoors.
Outdoors. Okay.
Outdoors. So for that you take the goblin out and you sleep outdoors with him.
Okay.
It's not that you don't like the thing, but you won't sleep in peasant villages.
Exactly.
So you sleep outside with the goblin, and you have let me roll me a charisma.
By the way, he's meditating, not sleeping.
Yeah. It's not sleeping; it's meditating. But force of habit. The goblin sleeps next to you, and your bond doesn't grow any tougher than it was. It's a very fine line between he knows that if he tries to run away, you'll kill him, so he's scared for his life still. If you had rolled a little better, he probably would have had a different result. But for now, he just seems like really fucking scared, and he's afraid to. He has a really shitty night's sleep. He's trying he keeps opening his eyes and checking on you, and you're meditating. But that's about it. So it's the next morning. What do you guys do? It's really warm outside.
How many days do I have till my tax day comes or something?
6
like that?
days.
6 days. Okay. Anyway, Bjorn will go to the Kuri and pay for extra 2 weeks.
Okay.
Advanced.
Okay. So you walk up to the barracks and you open the door and you see Private Zanaris is just hard working. She's taking care of some business. She's already up and going as you walk in. You see Zanaris first. What do you tell her?
I just wave at her. I don't want to I've tried to get her attention, but not disturb her work. And so Bjorn's hi, and he waves. And if she notes, I don't know.
Yeah, I do. Vivid memory stuff. I walk up to him and I ask, "What's up? What you doing here?"
Just coming, paying taxes, being good citizen, not doing bad stuff.
That's good. That's good.
While you were talking, you noticed that Kuri is going by you guys and riding on this big pedestal which has a book inside it, a really pristine glass case where he opens it from the front and starts writing down.
Bjorn goes to Kuri and he says to him, I want to pay for the next 2 weeks advance.
Okay, that can be arranged. And you see that he has this feather, and you notice the feather is completely black, from top to bottom is completely black, but you don't see any ink on it. But when he writes it, the ink suddenly appears on the paper. And he writes Bjorn, and then he writes something in a language that you don't understand. And as he writes it, and he finishes writing, the words just vanish. And he sticks out his hand waiting for the money.
Yeah, I'm giving him money. It was 5 gold pieces per week, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I give him 10 gold pieces.
Okay. He looks at you, he accepts the gold, he puts it in his robe, and he nods, and he just goes back to doing whatever, walking around in the barracks. These barracks are many short swords displaced around some metal boxes which you assume are lockers with little tags on them rusted in, because this is a very old building. So this is where business official government business gets done. And Zanaris is just like doing patrols at this point, like searching for like things that happened during the night. Joey, you wake up in the back of the tavern with a goblin next to you, and he wakes up and says, "Where are we going?"
I want to go up to the bartender's boy and see how he's looking up.
Leah, I assume you would do the same if you.
I mean, we can go just like technically since it's the next day, and considering I don't really actually have a job, I was just casually walking around the city, like maybe trying to do something, but since like the weather is just like I'm so annoyed at it, I unnoticeably just like wander into the area where like the place was and just like decide to go and check on the boy.
You all meet up. Zanaris, you're on your rounds, doing a rounds, and you notice that these three meet up again, and you join them in. And you go inside the tavern, which is already open. He opens like really, really early. And you notice is that the tables still have the chairs on top of it. It's open. It looks like it's open for business, but it's been like an hour. Like it's around, let's say, around midday. So the tavern should have been open for 4 hours now, but the tables are still not set. And I assume you guys walk up to the bar to check on Pick.
Yeah.
You walk up and you see that Pick looks like he's packing things.
Where are you packing?
I intend to leave. I have nothing left. This tavern was all I had. I tend to leave. I guess you probably know what happens to people who don't pay their taxes. And he looks at you, Bjorn. And you know that the first time they come back a week later to reclaim it, like the first month, if you don't pay, they come back the week later to check on your payment. And if you don't do that, which was this time they came, the second time is on the next day. And they come to like pick up the money, or they either bring you in or execute you.
Bjorn goes up to Pick and he like puts his hand on his shoulder and he's like, I just want to thank you for all you have done to me. And I hope that we'll meet in better circumstances in the future.
He looks at you and he's like, he's visibly like that really hit a weak spot on him, and he goes up to you and he hugs you and he tells you, next we meet will be a glorious day. And you see him like he walks back after the hug and he just like wipes his tears again. Okay, I want, actually, before anything, I want everybody to roll me a perception check. You guys are just like weirded out that why is the bar not open yet? Like, even if he's packing, like, isn't he taking the chairs with him? Like, you guys are confused. But you, Bjorn, you noticed that the pickaxe that was mounted is also, and you notice that the pickaxe is on his back, not sticking out too much. It's just like on his back. But this pickaxe is the size of like the handle is the size of his back, so it's a massive pickaxe, way bigger than you actually thought it was on the frame. It was just so high up.
Where will you go?
I don't know yet. I am still making preparations, but my son has gone ahead. I've left them with a couple of trusted friends. Maybe you can check up on him. He shall arrive in the town over, just in a couple of days. Maybe you can check up on him. I left him with a close friend of mine. Maybe you could do me that favor? Because he is elven. He does not have an issue with the law, but I do.
Alright, I do.
He takes out a little bit of parchment, and he writes it in Dwarven first, but then he slaps his head like in Dwarven. He turns it around and he writes the name Ira, and that's the name like that. And he says, "My friend lives in the last house of the next village. You just need to go there and check on my son. I gave him explicit information of to where to find the house and directions. He should find it. Could you do that for me?"
Beyond
Yeah.
notes.
Yes.
Does everybody agree?
I'll just look at my sister and give this confused look like,
Exactly. I'm kind of representative of the law, and someone is running away.
I mean, you can do whatever you want. You want to like tell him off?
No, I just look at him and say, "You're a good person." I'll pretend I didn't hear anything. I didn't see anything here. And I'll do whatever I can to help your son.
He nods. He thanks you. And you see that he's like almost unpacking. He takes out like this little box he had under the counter, and he like places it like in his backpack, and he hurls his backpack on his back, and as he's doing that, you guys hear just the most disturbing sound you've heard since last night, and you hear these massive footsteps entering the doorway. You just hear like these massive footsteps, and you turn around, and a great axe is just standing there, and it just does not look like happy at all that the bar isn't open at this time, since he has like things to pay. And you see that he's not followed by anyone. Nobody's with him. So he walks up to the bar. He nods at Yuzanaris. He pushes everybody else aside, and he walks up to Pick and he says,
I told you, the money yesterday. What was the holdup?
Pick looks like not. You guys notice that he doesn't look distressed like he did yesterday. He actually looks very, very calm. And I want everybody to roll me a perception check, not initiative.
oh,
Joey?
finally.
And this one is for Bjorn.
Okay, you guys heard like a little voice there going, finally. That's a natural 20 by Leah. Nobody else notices. You guys are just like, this guy is massive. Like, I mean, this guy's 2.5 meters tall. This guy's huge, and he imposes a threat. You guys feel threatened when he's around. Even you, Joey. You don't care about this guy. This guy's a peasant to you, but you feel like a really threatening aura. Like, okay, I can't say a word because this guy will chop my head off if I do. But you, Leah, you notice that Pick is reaching for his back. And the moment you notice that, Pick grabs his pickaxe from his back, jumps on top of the counter, and in a full motion, he swings his axe and says, "For my son!" and slams his axe on Pickaxe's head and cracks his head completely open. And he just drops to the floor and falls down. The moment that happens, he just says, "Now it's my time." And he puts his pickaxe back. You see this guy who you thought was a really old dwarf just slings this massive pickaxe back in his backpack and just starts darting for the door.
Okay, as he runs away, Bjorn says, "Oh my god, I have never seen bottle fall down from the sky so fast. Poor Great Axe."
I am confused.
I'm shocked.
I think I don't exactly know what to do. Because I'm sure this guy's dead.
You can check if you want.
How do I check?
You can just tell me you're checking for him.
He's just bones.
Huh?
He's just bones, right?
Yeah, he's just bones. But you can check if you can turn him around, see the injury.
Okay, then I'll do that. I'll just turn him
When you flip him around, you notice that his eye sockets still have the glowing orbs, completely vivid. But these orbs are like a flame just went on in them, and this guy looks really angry. And the moment he looks at you, you see that the light is dimming really, really slowly. And for a moment, you see a laugh, like a smile on his face, and he says, "The sweet release of death." And when that happens, he just crumbles to a million pieces of bones. the magic just flows through him, and he's just a pile of bones and a cape and armor and an axe, which is his weapon.
Can I just, like, being all concerned, just, like, looking at everyone, since, like, I'm a criminal, like, kind of familiar with these things, and be like, guys, I think we need to leave. I mean, Zen here could be okay by just saying that he found him, but I think we need to leave.
Just like, I agree. Let's go to the town.
Okay. Does anybody take anything from Great Axe, or you guys leave his gear?
I'm too shocked to even look at the guy. I mean, I just witnessed
Isn't it a little bit too big to any of us?
Yeah, like the guys.
Yeah,
like,
it's quite massive. But do you guys want to try and like grab the armor?
It wouldn't be a good idea.
Do I see any like money
Anyone
pouches?
would
Because they're
recognize-
usually like
Anybody would recognize
Visible.
the armor, but not a pile of
Exactly.
bones. Yeah, the armor's too big for any of you to wear. It's like this really nice plated armor, but it looks really, really worn out. It's like just a chest piece, and it's got like a cape flowing down through his back, and has like a little small hood. And
I take the cape.
the cape is attached to the armor. It's like it's
Put it down.
yeah, it's like nailed to the armor.
And as I said, do I see any money pouch on him?
No, he does
They're
not
usually
appear to be
invisible.
carrying. I thought he thought he was just coming for a morning routine inspection, and he just didn't bring anything with him.
Joey takes his cape.
So you're gonna rip the cape from the nails.
I mean, I don't rip it. I mean, I try to be as careful as I can
Okay,
be and try,
okay.
and try to not get any holes,
Mhm.
big holes from the
Okay, let's do that sleight of hand.
boom.
Dude, you take you knowing like how the inside of a jail looks. You just like you take every screw just perfect, and you just leave this really pristine cape, which it has holes in them from the nails, but it's apart from that, it looks completely fine.
I use my mensing cantrip and then
And-
repair it.
And repair it.
There's
Okay,
holes, man.
the holes are completely repaired.
I
Yeah.
look at Joey and I say, I don't think we should touch at anything else. As I'm sure someone will notice that Great Axe went missing. If you guys leave, I can always tell that I came here looking for him and disappeared just like this, not even mentioning Pick's name. But they will notice that Pick isn't here, so most likely they will come look for him.
As they're looting the body, Bjorn goes to the bar. He takes like jug, pours in the best ale he knows, which is here. He like drinks all of it like in one giant swing, and he just
By the
says,
way, as you're like taking the ale off, you notice that the moment you fill the last cup,
Yeah.
it just stops working. It looks like Pick just left just about enough for one last pint.
and he drinks it, and he just says, "Not the best, but not the worst, but close to home."
Okay, so you guys leave an armor and a great axe on the ground, right? Nobody takes
right.
any of those.
No.
Okay.
I think it is a good spot to end.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah. It's a yeah.